I got triggered. And people know just the right way to use the right words in certain places to trigger me. And I've learned as well, and I've had access to many information and resources and companies and coaches who know how to trigger people to get them to do what they want, or trigger them to move, to motivate them to buy something. So the word trigger, like being triggered, it's always not traumatic. It's not always considered a bad thing or about something bad. Being triggered, or that word trigger, just means something that catches your eye, catches your mind, catches your feeling, or catches your attention. And our society today, especially when it comes to selling or this or anything in society, stock markets, government, health, voting, like it's all by triggering. Like people are triggered, and it's because your bases are loaded. Like in stage 4 of the living higher journey, God helped me see that we have 4 bases: our mind, body, heart, and soul. What we go through, our experience, our thoughts, and our feelings, it's all there. And that's okay. But we got to be able to know who we are, why we went through something, and why we do get triggered. So that when people come and say, hey, come say, hey, example, if you've been through trauma and that word trauma just automatically gets your attention, you've just been triggered, which is fine. Something got your attention. However, stop and think and make sure you're being controlled, and that you're in control, and the trigger is not controlling you to make a decision, to buy something, to say something, or to do something you really don't want or don't really need. And it's sad but funny how we've actually gotten ourselves as humans into this position. And it's by filling out surveys is one of them. I realize when people say, hey, fill out the survey, or a job asks you, what do you think, or what's your feedback? They gathered information, and I also have given my information freely for people to use. Those statistics and tests and experiments and stuff. Like that is what's used to manipulate, which means just to move a certain way. It's not a good or bad thing. Everybody has the power to manipulate. I realized that too, having my daughter, that manipulation is just a power, is just a skill, and how you use it is up to you. But things like that, and we just gave up ourselves willingly, which is why AI is so now easily programmable, because us humans have given up ourselves and given over ourselves so much that we become addicts. Because that's what an addict is anyways, etymology speaking. And we're now more easier and susceptible and targeted to scams, to programs, to lifestyles, to opportunities, because we have given up what our weaknesses are, what we're strong at, what we have been through, instead of keeping that secret in secret places that only the Most High knows and few select should know. So I'm glad that my bases are loaded. I'm glad and thankful for my experiences and the ones that I will have in the future. I'm also more glad and thankful that God has taught me how to recognize and be aware and to control my triggers. Because one of my big triggers that I would use to try different opportunities, and especially like network marketing and things online, was online opportunities to make money for my family, right? Because my mom, 5 or 4 or 3 at the time, or even just, I wanted to help my husband. Like, I was like, I want to retire my husband so my husband can have more time at home with me and with our children. So I would try different opportunities. I'd be interested in them. I'm thinking, hey, this is going to get me there. This is going to help get us there. Yada, 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 yada. But everything sounds so good. But they don't always mention the work that it takes and what you actually have to do to actually get to where they're at versus you starting at the bottom. And I realized it was not for me. I'm not like that. I don't like trying to sell people things on purpose, especially when I know that they don't need it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to try and use my power of connection and being analytical just to buy you something for me because I can make money. That's not who I am. I tried it. God convicted me and judged me straight up. He was like, Angelica, you don't do that. That's not you. I was like, oh, my bad. Okay, I won't do that no more. So I'm quick to want to send you to somewhere else or to somebody else. If I personally at the time, if what I'm offering or saying is not working for you, but I know somebody else who is or who will, I am okay and glad and thankful to be that bridge that will send you to that person. Because I got paid back in a better way than currency, paper. And that's your trust, that's your relationship. And that always comes back around. Spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, etc., etc. That was bound on earth, it's going to be bound in heaven. As above, so below. And I'm just thankful. Like, I still have triggers, things that trigger me that I am working on. And then I'm learning how to not allow it to affect me as much, to where I'm like, oh, okay. Instead of, oh, I feel sad, but what if, like the back and forth, like a seesaw, back and forth, where I'm like, oh, there's that. Oh, I'm good. I'm on my path. God has me in the right direction. I'm trusting the Most High. He's already told me what to do, where to go. I'm going to stick to that. Yeah, I see how that could work better. However, I got a journey here. I got a lesson here. I got something to learn here for myself. And then I know it will help somebody else. Even though you're giving me an easier or more convenient way. That's great. However, right here is where God wants me. It may not seem or be easier to you. Maybe be doing more work that has already been done by somebody else. However, that somebody else is not me. That somebody else is not on the same path. That somebody else, because this has to do with my author journey, doesn't write like how I write. It's not the type of author that I am. It's the type of writer that I am. And I'm learning a new way, a different way that's going to help me sell or share my books. Besides relying on internet or ad or marketing or Facebook, because somebody else controls those avenues and those platforms, and they can be turned off at any time. And then what are you going to do? What you going to do? So, yeah. So triggered, stage 4 of the living higher journey. I have learned to live higher than my triggers on my journey on this earth by opening myself up to God and allowing myself to be healed, to hear and to see, and most importantly, to stop and think and breathe. Well, I should teach my children the order. Stop and breathe until you're calm, so I can think clearly. So I stop and breathe until I'm calm, so I can think clearly about why is this triggering me? Why am I even having the thought to do it? And how does that compare with what God has given me? Triggers. Triggers. And there's so many of them in today's society. There's so many trigger words that are used for like SEO and all that stuff. And I get it. I mean, do your thing. I get it. I get why it's also important to you so people can find you as well. So I know and I see both sides of the spectrum, right? I know it's also good in marketing as well. So I have marketing people that do that for me because that's their thing. If I happen to use trigger words, yes, it's intent with purpose because it's what I'm sharing. It's part of my story, my journey, or what I'm talking, or video, or a title. So like anything else, I'm aware. I'm very mindful and aware of trigger words and who and when to use them, how to use them, and most importantly, the intent and the reason why I use trigger words. So, be triggered. I know I am triggered. And I know I am in control of myself instead of the trigger, and the person who's behind that trigger is controlling me. All right. And that's it. That's my time. I got more exercises to do because I'm getting myself ready and more healthier and fit for renewing Ascension in Women next month. And yeah, I'm excited. So yeah, thanks for listening. And until next time, always remember there's peace in the blood. Whose blood? Yours and mine, of course.